Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it is your first time here. Today I'm just going to be going over some of the upgrades I've done here to my bike, which is a Canyon Stoic 2. Now, if you watched my original review of this bike, you already know all of the basic features that this bike comes with. If you haven't watched it, I encourage you to go watch that first so you can get a basic overview of this bike if you're interested. But let's start off with the number one thing you should get for this bike, which is this here. I'm just gonna press this lever, a dropper post. This is a X-Fusion Descend or Ascend. I don't remember, something like that. I think it says Ascend. This is a 150 millimeter dropper post as the travel. So this dropper fits me pretty well. It is a little bit higher than I like to ride. I usually drop it just a little bit. And I'm about 5'11"-ish. So if you're about, I'd say 5'10", I'd say, it obviously depends on your inseam, but that's probably the shortest I could ride with this length of dropper. If you are shorter than that, obviously it depends on your frame size as well. This is a medium size frame, so it does come with 29ers. So this bike sits pretty high off the ground. But I'd say a dropper is the number one upgrade you can do to this bike to make it more capable, especially since it does come with just a locking seat clamp here. It's not a quick release, so you will have to carry an Allen wrench if you ever wanted to adjust to that. So getting a dropper means you can adjust your seat a lot faster or without having to stop, and means you can ride longer, keep your flow going instead of having to get off before an uphill, raise your seat up, or before a downhill, drop it down. Now I picked this up for about $100. I got it on sale off of Wiggle, and it does come with a dropper lever as well. So the lever is pretty nice. It works. It's got a nice wide pad. It's not like some of the ones where it's just like a little push button up here. Some of those are for like a 2x system. This bike is a 1x, so I went with the 1x lever. And this lever is pretty nice. I can reach it pretty easily with my thumb, but it's far enough out of the way where I don't bump into it when I'm riding, which is really nice. I have it mounted on the inside of the brake lever instead of the outside, so it's nice hand position. If you have shorter fingers, maybe mount it on the inside. That might work better for you. Just play around with it, This bike was fairly easy to cable manage. You just kind of slide the cable in through here. It'll come up. It might get stuck on the lip internally by the bottom bracket, but then there's a little hole where you just feed it up through the seat post. I pulled it out through the bottom, as you can see here. I hope you can see that well. There's a hole in the frame where you can see the cables come out. So what I did, I just pulled it out there and then pushed it up to the seat tube and got the cable hooked up and all that. It took me a little while. I'd say no more than like half an hour to set that up. Obviously, if you're experienced with routing droppers, it'll probably take you quite a longer. It's the first dropper I've put on a bike, but in my experience, it was pretty simple. So definitely get a dropper for this bike or any similar trail bikes, something like that doesn't have one already. The Stoic 2 is the only one of the Stoic family that does not come with a dropper already installed. The 3 and 4 come with droppers, but this is the cheapest of the 3, so it does not. So the next upgrade I'm going to tell you is get some better grips. The stock grips are pretty wide, but they are slip-ons and they do move around once you start riding. What I have here are P&W Loam grips. I really like these grips. These are the XL versions. I ride with XL gloves, so I figured they'd work really well. These are nice and thick. Definitely reduces some of the hand pain I've experienced before with some thinner grips, which because you have to hold it a lot tighter, your hands more tightened down, so it can be uncomfortable. These grips are really nice. Nice shape, nice feel. They're soft but not too soft. They are lock-ons, and they're only about $25, I think, which is pretty good for some nice grips. I'm hoping they last. And I do like the color customization for these as well. I got them in the Fruit Snacks, which is this nice purple here, and they come in a ton of other colors. You can get them in like red, black, purple, blue. I think they come in like orange, you know, tons of colors for these. But of course, grips are a very subjective thing, but I would say definitely try these out if you're looking for a nice thick grip like I was, or get the non-XL if you don't want something quite so thick, but you still want something pretty comfortable. It has a slight taper to the end, so it is slightly wider here than here. So the third upgrade would be new pedals. This bike, or rather mine, did not come with pedals. Some people, they come with some, you know, cheap pedals. Mine actually didn't come with any. Originally, if you've seen my first review, I just had some Spank spoons on there, but I didn't really like those pedals a whole lot. They were a little bit too small for me. I ride in these. These are Van Crockett's and 10.5. So my feet are fairly large, but not super big. Now, these are Allow Dark pedals that I have on here. Got these for about $50 on Amazon. They are alloy pedals, not plastic. So if you're into some metal over plastic pedals, I'd say these are a pretty good option. I think I said I paid about $50 for these. I really like them. It's a nice wide platform with a lot of pins. The pins are really long, they grip really well. I really like this offset as well. It's not right up against the crank. There's a nice gap here, which that was one of my complaints about the Spank spoon pedals I had. With my wider feet, my shoe would rub on the crank, and I couldn't really get the stance I wanted. So that's one of the reasons I chose these pedals. However, I am interested in maybe trying out the PNW pedals. They just launched some a few months ago, and those would match my grips as well. So I might get a pair of those. I think they're about the same price, but they are plastic. However, they look pretty wide. The other option I was looking at was Crank Brothers Stamp 1s. However, I heard that the pins can be a little bit short and not as grippy on those. So that's why I ended up going with these. They were a little bit, these are a little bit of a less known brand, less known pedal. So I decided to give these a try, and I'm really happy with these. So, you know, definitely look at these as well. A ton of color customization. That was one of the main reasons of me choosing these pedals, was because I could get them in purple. You know, looks are definitely pretty important for, you know, a bike like this. You know, this is one of the main reasons I got this bike, is just of how good it looks as well as the price. So the next upgrade I'm going to go over here is these brakes. These are Shimano Dior's. I'm not sure what exact model, but just some Dior brakes. However, if you don't want to spend a ton of money on a new brake set, I would actually say just get levers. One thing, I have not done this personally, but I've heard you can do is just buy some like Dior levers, or just any sort of like one finger Shimano lever, and then you just mate them with the original MT200 calipers, and it'll give you a lot more power and a better feel. You know, with a bike like this, you know, a big trail bike, you probably want to be one finger braking, so that way you can grip your bars better. I really like the lever of these. You know, it's a really nice fit for my hand. I'd say a lot of people would say the same. They stop really well. Not a whole lot more performance compared to these stock brakes. However, it is enough where I'd say it's definitely a worthy upgrade. You know, if you're looking at doing some smaller upgrade instead of anything super expensive on this bike. You know, it comes with a solid drivetrain, pretty solid fork. I've had no issues with my fork or my drivetrain on this bike, so that's a pretty good upgrade. Now the last thing I have changed on this bike I haven't really changed it, but I've added, is this AMS frame protector. This is one that you can get these on Amazon, I think for about $35, $45, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit cheaper than that depending on where you get them. But this one has a pretty cool design on it, and so I just have the one here, and then I have these chainstay protectors as well, one there, one on that side. And then this bike comes stock with a protector on the down tube here, so it's a pretty thick sticker, and so I didn't really need to add anything under there, but I did add one right here, just replace the original sticker. It was starting to peel. I didn't do the best job of applicating this one. It's coming up a little bit. I may switch it out for just a big protector that covers this entire chainstay, because obviously this sticker is pretty small and these are pretty long chainstays since this is a 29er. However, I don't experience really any chain slap with this bike. The chain tension is really good with this Dior 10-speed drivetrain, so I may not need to add anything to it. So there's that. Other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much everything I've done to this bike. Definitely stay tuned. I will be doing a lot more content with this bike and going over some more upgrades I'll be doing. I've got some more stuff already, but other than that, peace out, stay safe.